So welcome to the channel. I didn't really plan this particular video out. It's kind of as a response to somebody making a video, tagging me in it, a bunch of people seeing the video, and then now all of a sudden I'm getting messages, several messages about this new patent that apparently modifies your game in real time. Based at least off this YouTuber that made the video. And I've seen several people posting this video in the past couple days saying, the skill-based matchmaking messes up your aim, makes it harder for you to hit shots, changes your damage of your weapon. We're going to talk a little bit about everything, clear that up, and why it's false. It is misinformation. So we're going to talk about that. If you enjoy the video, hit the like button. If you don't, no biggie. And if you want to subscribe, find your way back, make sure you do hit the subscribe button. Keep in mind, I do have a skill-based matchmaking coming out tomorrow, along with Exclusive Ace and Drifter that we collaborated on. With all our information, we're going to explain a little bit more on how skill-based matchmaking actually impacts Cold War and some of the similarities to Modern Warfare, as well as some of the differences. So for this patent, it's the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. This was submitted a long time ago in September 2017, and then it became official on March 28th. That's when the patent actually went through of 2019. So you can see that right there, just above my webcam, it says 2019. So this is not a new patent of any kind. And the part that's kind of freaking a lot of people out, and a lot of people are referencing out, there's a lot of, different jargon in there that they're trying to use that is almost a little bit hard to understand. But for the most part, the ones that matter is this specific one that a lot of people are highlighting, because if you take it out of context, it's very, very misleading. And it's this one over here. Figure 3B illustrates a table providing an exemplary list of parameters of a gameplay session that are modified based on a player's skill level and the corresponding experience for the player of different skill levels. For example, in a first-person shooter environment, when a first player aims his weapon at a target, it doesn't say player, it says target, a parameter defining the tolerance of how accurate the player must be to hit the target is modified based on the acquired skill level of the individual player. So that means if you're highly skilled, the target will be slightly smaller. The hitbox will be slightly smaller and probably match the character model identically. And if you were a little bit more of a lower skilled player, you're a little bit less accurate, the character model might actually have the hitbox bigger than the character model, so you are more likely to hit shots. That's kind of what that's explaining. The computer, so the AI, whatever's running in the background, the systems in place, assigns that tolerance based off how accurate the player is, and must be to hit that target differently based off the individual skill level of the first player. A player having higher skill level will be assigned a lower tolerance, and therefore will have to be more accurate in aiming in order to hit their target. People are applying this as skill-based matchmaking, but they're talking about PvE content, and I'm going to explain that part too, because it's very explicit that this is PvE and not PvP, because everywhere it mentions the target, it doesn't say player versus player. Everything is related to people playing in a co-op setting, like you would see in campaign. In some games, maybe like Destiny, where you have a lot of PvE components. If you're just playing the campaign, you're playing with multiple people. The Division, where it's PvE, unless you go into the dark zone. There's a lot of different variables there, but the patent is specifically for PvE combat. If you focus on this being a PvP element, this would be very scary. Obviously, it's a slippery slope, right? They could start off with this and then eventually come out with another patent, but that's just kind of coming to a conclusion that's not based in reality. Literally, this is for PvE. As we go through, you'll continue to see that, and it'll hopefully make more sense. And this is not new. People did videos on this exact same thing 11 months ago. I wasn't part of that because I didn't really think it was a big issue, and a lot of big guys covered it. This time I'm getting like crazy amount of messages saying, did you see this? They're screwing us with skill-based match. Nah, that's not how it works. So a player having lower skill level will be assigned a higher tolerance parameter, and therefore could be less accurate in aiming in order to hit a target. And this also specifically is for when you're playing in a party. So if you're playing with your friends, and let's say you're an absolute god, right? And you're hosting the lobby, they're going to make the hitbox one way. And let's say all your other friends are just average or below average, and they're going to make that hitbox bigger. Vice versa, if you're a bad player and all your teammates are gods at the game, they're going to probably give you a regular hitbox, right, that's a little bit bigger, and all your friends will have a hitbox that fits to the character model. There's other things about like how much damage your weapon does, because obviously they scale that so that basically people that are skilled and people that are unskilled can likely have a similar playing experience where they still feel challenged and they feel like they're contributing. Even though in reality, the good player, if they were really on an even playing field, would do a majority of the work because they'd hit more bullets. They would do the same amount of damage, but since they're hitting more bullets, they would in fact do a total net more damage. So it goes through there. So here's another one a little bit further down. We'll go ahead and scroll it there. So it says, once an assessment is made, the computer program that executes the gaming environment modifies elements of the session and or gameplay parameters as the session is being created based on the aggregate skill level. So whatever the skill level is of the group. They're going to figure out a formula so that everyone has a good time, regardless if they suck at the game or they're very talented and tons of experience or they're a novice. They're going to try and create an environment that makes the game fun for everyone so that everyone can have a good experience. The better experience you have, the more you play. The more you play, the likelier you are to buy in-game cosmetics or other things within the store. In embodiment, session modifications may include, but not limited to, adjusting the number of enemies, making it a little bit easier because maybe you get overwhelmed. Whereas the skilled players, they're going to handle it. They're used to it, right? They're absolute beasts at the game. Adjusting the complexities of the puzzle. Maybe there's certain puzzles going on. Last time I checked, there are no puzzles in PvP when you're going head-to-head against someone. At least not currently, there aren't. And then adjusting the and a player adjustment, which may include your health, make you a little bit more squishy or make you a little bit more tanky. You could have more damage, so you could be a little bit more, you could deal more damage or less damage. Modify your speed and available abilities and difficulty level. In one embodiment, the player's health are scaled based on the aggregate skill level. So they'll kind of balance it out. Data corresponding to aggregate skill level with all players generated and presented to players via a game console, resulting in each player within a team experiencing a customized degree of difficulty within the content game session. So that if somebody's more skilled or less skilled, they both have that good gaming experience because the game's going to figure out how to do it. The degree of difficulty or challenges of any other game parameter is customized for the team players based on their aggregate skill level. So based on that collaboration. So that's that part of it. Now let's go ahead and go to the top where it actually shows off a little bit of what I was talking about of this being a PvP, a PvE element, not a PvP element. So that's going to apply to Destiny open world when you're playing with your buddies, doing different missions. If in COD, the only really place you would see this is a campaign co-op mode, which they don't really have co-op in this game. For Cold War, so that doesn't really matter. They didn't really have that in Modern Warfare either. Whereas it could have applied in the Spec Ops missions and could apply in zombies. Technically, those could apply in zombies where the zombies are maybe more aggro towards the better or higher skilled player. Maybe you have to deal a little bit more damage if you're more skilled. If you're partied with the buddy, if you're just playing solo, it wouldn't factor that into the equation. Not to say that that is within those, but this is going to be specific to those types of gameplay modes within a multiplayer experience where you're partying up with friends. So it says the first claim of this is a computer implemented method for encouraging team performance in a multiplayer game environment. This is where people mistake multiplayer for PvP. They're misreading this environment in the game for multiple players, and that's kind of where they stop. They don't finish reading this last line. Players where the multiple players form the team. So all these players, multiple people, real people, not AI, form a team, co-op. The method being implemented in a computer having a processor of a random access memory wherein the processor is in the data communication will display with the storage unit method of determining by the computer a cooperative metric comprising, it's a lot of verbiage, I know, measured degree of cooperative provided collectively by the multiple players that form the team, wherein the overall team metric is determined based on the function of all the measures of the degree of cooperation, not head to head, provided by each player of the multiple players, and generating by the computer a visual representation of the team performance based on the overall team metric. So as a result of this, it is for PvE So when you team up together with your buddies and you go after targets, it doesn't say enemies or other players. It is specific towards that. So to misconstrue this in a way that makes it seem like this is skill-based matchmaking, maybe in a PvE setting it is, but COD doesn't really have a PvE section besides a co-op campaign, which it does not have, or zombies. Multiplayer is not a PvE component. It is a player versus player component, which this doesn't fall in line with that. And it's getting brought up again because of other issues. So right here, if we go to the Activision skill-based matchmaking patent, we can see that 11 months ago, Exclusive Ace literally covered the identical thing. You can kind of watch that video. I'm going to link it. It's a good video. Literally explains it all. That you need to be more accurate to hit another sketchy Activision patent, right? So good video, went through it, and now it's kind of resurging. See, Activision skill-based matching patent, 43 minutes ago, same patent. New Activision skill-based matchmaking patent. No, it's old. People covered it 11 months ago. 1 month ago. This is a different one for monetization matchmaking, which basically tries to pair you off with people that have bought cosmetics so that if you don't have cosmetics, you'd be more inclined to buy cosmetics. That's another one that's sketchy. Not saying these patents aren't sketchy in any way, but they don't do what people are claiming that they do. Does skill-based matchmaking impact your aim? 1 month ago. So they came back, official patent. So this got researched because this guy, Why So Serious, brought it up. And it's cool to bring it up if this was legitimately an issue within Call of Duty, but this patent is specific for one thing and people are making a big deal about it as if it's for another thing. This does not help the cause if you're trying to get rid of skill-based matchmaking, because this is not for skill-based matchmaking. So hopefully that clears it up. If you did enjoy the video, learn something new, please do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're brand new, want to find your way back for Call of Duty content, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. Appreciate all the support on the channel. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.